Hello, welcome to another episode of Outside TV. Today we'll be talking to a physiotherapist. Okay, welcome Ken.
Thank you.
Ken
Thank you
is
for
from
having
Core
us.
Concept.
Yep.
For some of you who have watched a few episodes before this, we talked about podiatry. We talked to a podiatrist, right?
Yep.
So today we talk to a physiotherapist. Now, what is a physiotherapist and what's a physiotherapy versus podiatry? I think 𝗶𝗀 explained pretty well what is podiatry.
Yep.
So what is physiotherapy?
Physiotherapist, or rather physiotherapy, is one of the allied health profession arms that aim to get clients, patients back to function through exercises and through conservative management like massages and other techniques and modalities. Yeah.
Okay. I guess when people talk about physiotherapists, the first thing that comes to my mind is therapist or physio. That means it requires physical. That is what your impression is.
Absolutely.
What the podiatry 𝗶𝗀 explained to me was that podiatry look into everything that is lower limb.
Yep.
But externally, everything from top to bottom. That means physiotherapists cover top to bottom.
Yep. So I think, well, that's where the question that you asked earlier, what's the difference between physical therapist, podiatrist, and osteopath as well. I think it's easier to talk about the similarities of physiotherapy, podiatry, even chiropractor and osteopathy. Yeah. The similarities is we all aim to help the client get better.
Okay.
This is our aim. Now the difference is basically separated into three aspects. One is our treatment philosophy, how we see a client, how we see a problem. The second one is the assessment and how we find out what the problem is and where the problem is. And the third one is the treatment. There's the difference of that.
And that's the whole reason when I first started very beginning, for many people, when we have a problem or want to seek treatment, who to go to, that's why when I first started this research, like, okay, do we go to podiatry, go to physiotherapists, go to all different school of thoughts, right? Different treatments, So clearly explained on physiotherapy already. Now, so maybe to make it easier for people to easily understand, what are the common reasons people come to you, and what kind of treatment do they seek from you?
Okay, so traditionally they used to come to me whenever they have symptoms, like when you have pain, they'll come to me.
The most common one.
Right? Right now it has evolved in the last at least 10 years. They'll come to me wanting advice. Should I go for surgery? Should I go for certain type of injections? Will this medication help me for my problem? How long do I need to get better?
Okay.
Yeah. And
that comes to me a question that, do people only come to you only when they have problems?
Yeah. So usually they would have a problem first that they cannot fix. Then they will come to me. Well, we are not cheap. So they will usually try Dr. Google first.
Okay.
Yeah, and then try to find out their own problems.
Okay.
And when they have the problem that they can't fix, they can't seem to get better, then they'll come to find us.
So of course, I always think like they come to you when they got problems, right?
Yeah.
So prevention is always better than cure, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll talk about that one later, how to prevent. Maybe with some sort of different sort of exercise, we'll do that one later, some sort of prevention. Now, talk about injury. So our audience here, they are mainly hiker, trekkers, mountaineers, even including trail runners.
Yeah.
What sort of common, you say they come to you with problems, what sort of problems or in general, what sort of injury are there that are applicable to you, in your opinion, that people come to you for this group of sports?
Okay, so usually, well, we get these injuries in season. So now it's first quarter of the year.
Seasons?
Yeah, seasons. So different year, different time of the month, we get different
injuries.
kind of
different,
injuries.
also come with seasons.
That's
okay,
right.
I didn't know that.
So right now it's mainly post-skiers. So all those skiing injuries, snowboarding injuries. So we tend to get a lot of traumatic type of injuries like fractures, falls, dislocations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds serious.
Yeah.
Are those treatable?
Yes. So
those treated by you by therapists or by doctors?
So from a traumatic, so imagine yourself getting hit by another skier. The first port of call is go to the hospital to check for any breaks or any bones. You need to immobilize it if it's a fracture. And then when they get flown back to Singapore, then that's where they begin their treatment.
Okay, I'm not a skier.
Yep.
You know, my friends are involved mainly in hiking and trekking.
Yep.
Are there a lot of people who go skiing from Singapore?
Yes, they do a lot of
Serious?
cross-country skiing.
Oh wow!
So
what is a cross-country skiing?
I'm
I
not-
actually learned about this word only lately.
Yeah, so I think they ski long distances to different ports.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not like you think to go to Sapporo and then just trying to go to the ski field, the ski resort, and then just ski down. So
I think they ski to different destinations, but it's just
okay.
longer.
The common injuries you're talking about first
Yeah.
is a traumatic
Yeah.
injury.
Traumatic from falls,
Okay.
and then the atraumatic, which you have your sprains, your regular,
Atraumatic.
atraumatic, regular sprains, strains,
Okay.
Yeah.
These are very common.
very common. Yeah.
Like including me.
Yeah.
I actually fell down before and I sprained, I think it was my knee about several years ago.
Yep.
So these are treatable, it's not serious.
Yep.
And this is the reason most of the reason they come to you.
Yes, because of overuse type
Okay.
of injuries. Yeah.
Okay, and then what sort of treatments are there for this sort of mild
Yep.
injury?
Well, for mild injuries, you can look for even your simple TCM.
Okay.
You can even look for physio does the job as
Okay.
well. We have a variety of treatments from
Okay.
dry needling, from massages,
Okay.
bandaging, taping, everything.
Okay.
Everything
So
can
I
be
learned one thing, physio actually really help. I've been seeing, me myself, I've been going to a lot of physio sessions for different reasons, for different parts of the body, and I seeking the correct physician, right, will really help improve a lot because to find out, okay, first of all, you find out the real problem first,
Yep.
which part come from what, and then with the correct exercise is actually very helpful.
Yep.
That's where the expert here is what they do. So that is second type of injury, which is quite mild.
Yep.
Any other type of injury?
Well, the third one would be chronic.
Okay,
Chronic,
serious.
chronic will fall under an injury that doesn't heal, or rather
Doesn't
takes
heal.
a longer time to heal,
Okay.
or keeps recurring. So, an example would be an ankle sprain. If you have an
Okay.
ankle sprain about 4 months ago, but the
Okay.
problem and the pain still keeps
coming
coming
back.
back. You feel unstable,
Okay.
and it becomes chronic.
Okay. But I think is this where this part I feel that the physiotherapy also help,
Yeah,
and then require a lot of constant regular
That's right.
exercising.
yeah,
For example, I got my shoulder problem.
Yeah.
This is what I do every single morning.
yeah.
So this is chronic.
Yes.
Um,
Chronic just basically refers to over 3 to 6 months.
Okay. Selfishly speaking, I always ask the podiatry also,
Yeah.
wear and tear.
Yeah,
So that's ongoing, right?
That's right.
That's considered chronic because it's ongoing.
yeah.
What about what do you call people who have arthritis?
Yes. So arthritis is arthritis basically is a condition that has many forms, that comes in many forms. Arthritis is spelled with the last 4 letters ITIS. That means inflammation.
Okay.
Okay. So if you have osteoarthritis, means that you have bone inflammation.
Okay.
Yeah. And the inflammation is daily.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got to figure out as therapists what are your triggers that increase the inflammation.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in a typical treatment, when people come to you,
Yeah.
before they even consider what treatments, like for example, I got pain,
Yeah.
I got injury.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing a doctor, the first thing is your GP, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you go to GP for these sort of reasons. Typically, you also go to TCM. So before you knock on the door of a physiotherapist or even podiatry, what are the usually the sequence? For example, I fell down from the trip.
Yeah.
I come back. Do I go straight to a therapist? Do I need a referral?
Well, now you do not need a referral. Well, it depends on what your insurance is like again. So the first port of call, obviously, you go to GP to rule out any red flags. They are the gatekeepers of our health system. Yeah.
So when you go to your center,
Yeah.
do you also provide all the various like X-ray, scanning, and all that?
Yeah, so that's the difference between physical therapist, physiotherapist, and a chiropractor. So physical therapists, podiatrists, some ways, and osteopaths, we tend to use non-technology dependent. We use a lot of our own assessment, orthopedic assessment, and we use through questioning, we use through feeling as well, where your problem is, and then we come to a conclusion what you have.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Right, so that's all the injuries.
Yeah.
Maybe it would be interesting also to talk about the myth
Okay.
of some of the injury. For example, there are so many myths, people were wondering what is what is what. So for example, when you have pain, doesn't mean damage. If I pain, doesn't mean that I cannot do this exercise anymore.
Okay.
So basically pain here, pain there.
Yeah. So again, the pain is divided into two parts. One is the acute pain, which is the sudden pains. Those pains will be classified under like your ankle sprains. And when you have ankle sprain, you have that pain. The more you do it, the more damage it will be. Okay. So that part of pain you cannot ignore. The other part, whereby I think is gaining in popularity, is rather try not to focus on your pain, focus on your function.
Function.
Yeah, focus on your function. So that falls under chronic pain.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a very big topic, but essentially pain is a mechanism from our brain to tell us that there is a warning.
Warning.
Yeah.
Okay. So in which point you need to tell yourself to stop, right?
Correct. So the point that it's you got to tell yourself to stop is the acute pain, whereby you sprain your ankle and then you keep doing the same activity that makes it worse.
For example, I'm going to a trekking trip, like 2-3 days. I'm in the middle of the mountain. And then pain started to come in. Then how?
So if the pain is limiting your function, like you really can't move anymore, I think that's the time whereby you need to stop.
Okay.
Because pain is a very broad topic. It's how do you say? It's defined by how your personal experience. Exposure to pain as well,
Perhaps you can share also, what are the most common, in your opinion, the most common myth?
The most common myth, I have pain, or rather, I have arthritis. I can't function anymore. This is the most common.
Which is not true.
Which is not true.
Okay.
Again, there are various levels of arthritis. Grades of arthritis. Sorry, and then even when you have really bad arthritis, it doesn't mean that you should stop moving.
Okay. I got a good one. What about sound? So when you walk the steps, you go crack. Sound. So is that a warning?
No, really that sound that you hear, that kind of this kind of sounds in your joints, it's caused by two possibilities. One is the gas within your joints, the pressure. The second is when you have tight muscles rubbing over that structure that causes that. So the advice we give to our patients is we tend to say, look, if there is just sound, no pain, that's fine.
Okay. Got sound, no pain is fine. But got sound, got pain, then not fine.
Not fine. Come and see me.
Come and see you. Okay. I guess that's the common. This is the common myth, right?
Yeah, that's a common myth.
Okay. Also for me, personally myself, I do a lot of stretching and all that. I got all these tips apart from seeing my therapy, my physio for a certain area. But most other areas, I watch a lot of tips from YouTube. All sorts of YouTube, but YouTube channels got a lot of these sort of things. What's your opinions on me watching YouTube or people getting tips from YouTube?
It's good. I mean, all these videos on YouTube is great. It educates the public on what to do. It actually has more benefits. It encourages people to get off their feet, do more stretching.
I guess if the YouTuber or the channel, those are doctors, specialists, I guess they probably be good what they are doing, probably the good advice, correct?
Correct, but I think the rule of thumb is if you do the exercises or you follow the advice on the internet and doesn't feel right, doesn't seem right, doesn't get better, I think it's time to.
But of course, it might not help if you do not know the actual cause of it.
That's right.
And which part caused the injury? Where does the injury come from?
So that's where we get the majority of patients whereby they tried they tried those online remedies whereby they don't get better.
So let's talk about prevention now. We will talk about earlier on about injury prevention. So as a regular hiker or a irregular hiker, the best prevention, of course, is exercising. Then how often should one exercise?
So it depends on what your goal is. Let's say if you have a base camp coming up, I think you've got to start training 6 months before.
Training 6 months?
I've got to start training 6 months, even up to a year before. It depends on your condition.
I have this issue. Do people only train when they require to do some sort of things, only then they train? But then normally they don't train.
Well, I think the absolute majority, and I say this very loosely, is when they have something to look forward to. We always tell our patients, you have to train stay ready instead of you got to stay ready for to prepare for events.
Okay.
Right?
What if you do not have event? Then what should one train? And of course, also beneficial to also do regularly, right?
Of course, you still have to train to stay ready rather than get ready. Yeah.
Okay. So you say like for a person who wants to go to Everest Base Camp, you say 6 months.
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's of course people who probably hardly do any exercise.
Yeah. So I think Everest Base Camp requires, in your experience, how long does it take for?
I haven't been to Everest Base Camp yet.
But roughly, because
for training.
Yeah, for training. I mean, to get to the.
Oh, the actual trips I think requires about 12 days.
12 days.
12 days. 12
starting
days trekking.
From,
yeah.
So if that.
Like, it probably closer to us, 𝗧𝗃𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Yeah.
The trip will require 3 days. 2 days, 1 night.
2 days, 1 night.
Yeah.
So 2 days, 1 night. If a muscle typically takes about 6 to 8 weeks to get conditioned, to train.
Okay.
6 to 8 weeks for a muscle, for one muscle to actually get conditioned. You have to times it by how many muscles you are training. This is the simplest way to calculate.
Actually, I found an interesting thing.
Yeah.
This is training prevention before for an actual event.
Yep.
What about the post-event?
Well, post-event, you look at what is your next goal, really, and recovery as well.
Recovery.
Recovery is very important. But I think everyone, once you bit the hiking bike, the bug, you would always look for another event to train to do better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talking about exercise, I myself do a regular exercise. I try to every morning, about 10-15 minutes, just mainly to stretch my muscle.
Yep.
Maybe it'd be quite a good idea. There are a lot of YouTube to watch, but maybe it'll be easier for us to have a session where you can focus on few key parts of exercise that one should do at home.
Okay.
Which are the area you think, if I were to do this one, which area do you think we should be focusing on? What does it help?
Yeah. So I think when we talk about trekking and hiking, we always look at the foot, or rather the whole leg, being on unstable terrain.
Okay.
So we got to always incorporate some instability in your training.
Okay.
Okay. So that's
instability.
One. Instability. So those exercises should be done in a single leg most of the time.
Single leg.
Yeah. Rather than double leg. When you're going up inclines, you are going to stress your knees.
Okay.
So we got to utilize and you got to train the right muscles like your glutes, your butt muscles to help you propel you forward.
The training for all these glutes, that is for strengthening, right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay. So you talk about instability is more for balancing, strengthening. What else you think is benefit from doing regular exercise? What about endurance?
Yeah, so endurance, I think it depends on what is your goal? What are you trying to climb? Maybe it's a 2-day 1-night 𝗃𝗃𝗏𝗏𝗃.
Okay.
So I think you need to incorporate some zone 2 training.
Okay.
Those cardio aspect, but those are the coach. If you have a coach.
You know, for example, when you talk about endurance, to me, endurance is something like when you go for whether it's 1 day or 2 days or 10 days, it's like you're so tired, you must push yourself. Keep on pushing yourself. That to me that's endurance.
That's right. That's right.
But then how do you I guess can you train for that? Because it's only when you actually feel, then you actually doing it and you push yourself, right?
That's right.
It's very hard to train.
Yeah. So that is going to sport specific training.
Okay, that's sports training.
Yeah, sport specific. Yeah. So if we talk about general strengthening, we can put our lower limb into a stressful state. So that's why being in single leg or standing on a wobble board or training in sand on soft surfaces would be good.
Do your center provide all this sort of training?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so people don't forget, physiotherapists, you don't go to see a therapist only when you got problem. You should all go and see them for prevention and seek advice. Right, what to do for your regular well-being in general. Also, before any some sort of exercise or trips.
Yep.
So I think it's important to get the advice, the proper guidance from the expert to tell you exactly what to train, which area. I think it's very important. Like for myself, I do a lot of things from just guiding from video. I don't know whether it's correct or not. Okay, so now we just should jump to the second session.
Okay.
We do some exercising, put some action on it.
Okay.
So we'll just sing some set now.
Okay.
So
the first exercise is a double leg squat. The reason why we're doing that is because trekkers, hikers
we tend to put a lot of stress going uphill and putting a lot of stress on our knees. So the question we want to fix is how do we strengthen your legs without putting stress in your knees? So Paul, can you please demonstrate the first squat? Okay.
So
how you normally do your squat?
So he hasn't taught me yet.
Yes.
So this is what I normally do. Then you can correct me.
Yep.
So
for the next 3 reps, you're gonna feel more over here, the pressure.
Okay.
So what I need to change is come standing up right here. So I want your knees not to touch my hands.
Oh, yo.
Okay. And then lie and lean forwards. Okay.
Lean forward.
Yeah. So bend forwards. There you go. That's it. And then just coming back up. Okay.
Okay.
Come try it once more. Okay.
So that means my knee don't go forward too much.
Exactly. And really pushing your butt out. So you should
Oh,
feel.
that means I'm pushing my butt instead.
Yeah. So
no,
should,
I feel like I'm pushing my butt using all my butts.
That's right. But if you touch your quads right now, they are still firing. They're still training.
Okay.
They're still being trained. But the pressure is being shifted.
Okay.
Okay. So you won't feel anything in front. Okay.
Okay.
And coming back up. So the right way to.
Wow, this is different for what I've been done so far because I don't know how much to go.
Yeah. So there is no right or wrong. It's really dependent on what condition you have, and we can tailor the same exercise according to your condition. So if someone with knee arthritis, we tend to give exercises like this, whereby your knees don't move at all, and whereby you go all the way down and just coming back up.
Okay, but it's okay for your head or your frontal to go forward a bit.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, because sometimes I tend to from my back to go straight like that.
Yeah. For someone with you who is nice and healthy, you can do whatever squats you want.
Okay. But the idea is to
work your buttocks muscles.
Okay.
Buttock
So
muscles.
that's the whole idea. Okay. So focus on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So make sure that you feel the feelings from here.
That's right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just do it again. This correction. Should I change my this angle?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So.
So you can actually put something in front of you to give yourself a guide.
Okay.
So when you go down into a squat, push your buttocks back and make sure your knees don't touch my hands. There you go. Okay. The right feeling is you should feel the pressure in your hamstrings, your butt, but at the same time, you're not neglecting your quads at all. Okay, and coming back up.
Okay, you see, I'm shaking already. Okay.
Yep, okay. Okay, the second one is what we call a single leg pickup. So I'll demonstrate this to you.
Okay.
It's like a lunge, but except that your feet is close together. Okay, just like that. So a bit closer, a bit closer. So when you go down, the weight distribution is 50-50.
50.
So it's the same thing, pushing your buttocks back, your knees not going forwards. Imagine you're picking something off the ground. Okay?
Okay.
Imagine you're picking
so
something. So
knee also don't go forward. No, also try to stay stabilize.
Stay
Okay.
put. Yeah, so go down some more. So 50-50. So when you come up,
okay.
100%.
So imagine you kind of pick up something.
Yeah.
So, okay, do it again.
Yeah, let's try once more. Okay. Buttocks back, push back. You gotta lean forward. You gotta lean forwards.
Oh,
as if you're picking something.
Okay, lean forward. Okay.
So when you come up, 100% of the weight will be on your right.
Okay. On my right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come up.
That means I'm pushing here.
That's right. Up. 100% of the weight on the right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So when you go down again, it's you can 50-50, you can support. But when you come up, it's on the right side. Go up. Push yourself up on the right. There you go. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, one of the things that I realized also, by doing it slowly, it makes a lot of difference. Because at home, I go like that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, then it really affect the entire purpose.
That's right. So do it nice and slow. Actually challenges the balance of your ankles and makes your ankle more used to unstable surfaces.
I think it makes a lot of difference when you have someone expert who beside you tell you exactly what to do and find the actual mistake or you did or guide you the proper way.
Yep.
Right? Because at home literally, I just do it for the sake of doing it.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. But if you don't have a problem, you can do however you want to do.
Okay.
So the third one, we focus on mobility, hip mobility, how your hip moves. Okay, so a lot of our clients are actually weekend hikers, weekend warriors, so they sit a lot. So when they sit a lot, being in a very static position whereby you don't move, you need to loosen up your hips. So one of the easiest way is to start off in this position, okay, and then you're just going to go like that. Okay.
Okay, this one I do at home, so whether it's correct or not.
Yep, that's right. Okay.
Okay,
So
all the way?
Yep, all the way. you want to make it tougher, you can use your hands to push up your butt off the floor.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then you can do something like this.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that means the butt off also?
Yes, the butt.
Okay, so basic.
Yeah,
like
basic.
this is easy. This is too easy for you.
Yep.
Then we will lift out a bit.
Yep.
And even easy for you, can still push some more, then lift up the entire butt.
That's right.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so these 3 exercises, the first one is to work the biggest muscle of your body to give you that force, which is the glutes. The second exercise, which is the pickup, trains your stability in single leg. Okay, and then the third one is to give your hips the movement and the mobility so that you can walk, you can jog for hours.
Okay. So that will also, in a sense, if you strengthen all this part here,
Yeah.
it will also help anything is lower.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yep.
Okay, so this is just some tips. Of course, you can't do 2-3 hours of exercise. This is okay, super basic. You can try at home. But of course, you want do a bit more, whether it's for prevention or whether it's for injury, then seek help. Go to the proper center, not seek help. Go to the proper center. Get the correct advice. Yep. Okay, so thank you so much, Ken.
Thanks.
It's been really helpful. It's a good trip for everybody.
I'm Ken. I'm the principal physio for 𝗧cie𝗃𝗃𝗍𝗶, and we have 5 locations at Raffles Place, Harbourfront, Parkway, and Novena. And you can find me at 𝗧cie𝗃𝗃𝗍𝗶.com.sg.
All right, okay. So, folks, that's all for this episode. I hope you guys have learned some tips from this episode. I also want to thank Ken for coming down to our studio to do this recording. So I will catch you the next episode.